VigilanteWilliamson here with a very simple question. That's how are the Bears going to do this year? I'm continuing with my series. I don't know what order I'm going to drop them in. I'll probably drop the Lions video first, but the rest of the videos for the North and the rest of the league, I'm not sure. And I say the North, I'm talking about the NFC North. We're talking about the Chicago Bears. I decided to do them next. If this is the second video I drop, we'll see what order. But this is the second video I'm recording because of the link of Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson has been a great offensive coordinator for the past 3 years for the Detroit Lions. The offense has been top tier all 3 years, I believe, including the year that we missed the playoffs. Past couple years, 1 year 11-6 for the Lions. Went to the conference championship, lost, and then the next year 15-2 in 2024. Went to the divisional round, lost to the Redskins that time. And to be honest, he is one of the men most to blame for those losses. I'm not saying he's the guy, but I'm glad he got a job, because I think in a situation where Ben Johnson stayed here, we would have really had some questions on how he calls plays in the playoffs in these big moments. So if you listen to ESPN, which I don't suggest you do because they don't watch the games and they don't understand a lot of nuances of different teams and of football, Ben Johnson leaving the Lions is going to make the Lions terrible, and it's going to make the Bears, 15-2, 16-1, 17-0. I don't know. There's a lot of hype about the Bears, and a lot of it is rightfully so. There's been a lot of rebuilding. They're addressing a lot of issues they had. They infamously have had the worst offensive line quantifiably back-to-back years with multiple quarterbacks. One with Justin Fields in 2023, and then 2024 with Caleb Williams, who I'll get into shortly, because he's key here, and not just because he's the quarterback, but his perception is key. In any event, they're trying to address the offensive line. They're trying to address these issues, and they've done a really good job. Their defense wasn't that far off the mark, as far as personnel at least, and they've they drafted a great tight end, drafted a great offensive tackle, drafted a wide receiver, brought tackles and guards in. They've seemed to do a lot of things to improve this team. If there is an issue with this team, and I didn't do the too long don't read part yet, I think this is a team that could go a lot of different ways. I'm going to give them a high floor. I'm going to say 7 wins is the floor, and 10 wins, 10 to 12. Now, I don't think they're going to get to that ceiling. Honestly, I'm picking the floor. Sorry. I'm picking 7 wins. Too long, don't read or don't listen. 7 wins for the Bears, but let me explain why. And that's not a bad season, by the way. I mentioned Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, historically, had a great rookie season as a quarterback. That has not been the perception of his rookie season. This guy only threw 6 picks, despite, again, being a rookie with quantifiably the worst offensive line. And I don't think people realize how impressive that is. Listen, I've had my fun with how zesty he may or may not be, but he is a tough motherfucker when it comes to being on that football field. To take all those hits, to not throw the ball for grabs. I get it. He throws a lot of screens. He does this. He protects the football. That's something you can't teach. That's something that's impressive. And what did he get? Like 3,600 yards? I know. This franchise doesn't know anything about quarterbacking. They haven't had a 4,000-yard quarterback ever in history. Caleb did talk his share of shit before the season, saying that this is going to be the year, don't worry about punting. But he still had 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks, an 87.8 passer rating for a rookie with a terrible offensive line. Like, that's great. That is worth the hype. I'm going to be honest. Coming out of college, I didn't see the hype, but how he performed last year did hype me up. Like, okay, this guy's going to be serious. But that's not the perception. The perception is he was a failure. And I worry that the expectations of this team are a little too high. Ben Johnson's a first-year head coach. There are plenty of videos and plenty of statistics that tell you every first year coach, especially one who is a specialist, offense or defense, it doesn't always work out. It doesn't always fail, but it doesn't always work out. I'm not saying the Bears can't have a 1 year turnaround. They absolutely can. That's why they have a high ceiling. That's why they could win 12 games and win a division and do everything ESPN and a lot of people are hoping for them to do. But listen, man, there's a lot going on. You got a first year coach, second year quarterback, a lot of new pieces. It may take a year to get everything right. You might go 8 wins, 9 wins. I picked 7, but I could be off by a couple. You could be 7 to 9 wins in a lot of games. Maybe beat a team or two that you weren't favored to beat and have a good season. And honestly, I think Caleb is going to get very close, if not passing that 4,000 yard mark. I'm very surprised, by the way, that what's the guy's name? I'm very surprised Jay Cutler never broke that mark. He was a pretty good quarterback. Whatever. He didn't break it. So it wouldn't shock me if Caleb had 4,000 yards. You guys win 8 games. Everything improves. Are you guys going to be okay with that? Are you going to be okay with next year being a year you take that playoff step? I don't know. I just don't see it this year. I just think it's too much. I do see an improvement. They're not going to win 4 or 5 games. And they got off to a great start last year. I could definitely see them winning 7 to 9 games. That's why I'm picking 7. That might be a little bit more what I want. It really wouldn't shock me for this team to win 9, go 9-8. It would not shock me at all for this team to go 9-8. It wouldn't even shock me if they did put it all together, had a good defense. Caleb balled out. I mean, having a tight end, and they already have receivers there. Plus, they got Luther Burton. It would not shock me for a lot of prognostication to be true and to be correct for this team. I just think it's too much. And when it comes to Ben Johnson, I'm up and down on him. Pause. Whoa. Not on him. No. I should cut that out, but that was too funny to not keep in. So, when I say I hot and cold, whatever's the least pause-worthy phrase, I should say. I respect what he did as a coordinator, but I think he has some flaws as a coordinator, let alone as a head coach. I'm not sure if he has the personality to be a head coach. Dan Gamble, for whatever you may think of him, was the culture guy for Detroit. And Ben got to do X's and O's. And he's starting to believe his own hype. And ESPN has hyped up this man so much. Now, some people believe their own hype, and that means they're going to work extra hard and do extra more to cash in that hype, to prove that hype right. And some people get all that hype and they just think they're a genius. They think whatever they do is going to work, and it doesn't. I am telling you, the Chicago Bears will call a trick play that doesn't work in a bad spot and potentially lose a game because of it. They may also have a trick play work and win a game because of it, but what is this fan base going to do? That's my big question. I think this is a 7 to 9 win team, and I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of. They're rebuilding. I think they're still on schedule for a good rebuild. And 2026, they're going to be a threat to win a division, make the playoffs, do all those things. That's another reason why I picked the Lions to win the Super Bowl this year. A lot of things. You're talking about the Bears and the Vikings. They both have young quarterbacks. They're coming along. Like, when they mature, it's going to be a problem. This division is already a problem, but we seem to be at top of it. It's going to be a real problem when these teams really get together. So that's why I want us to cash it in now. We kind of have a little bit of a sense of urgency because the Bears will be good long term. I just don't see playoffs this year. I'm not saying it's impossible. Like I said, their ceiling, they could go as high as 12 wins. I just don't see them doing that. And, I mean, they're going to have a tough schedule because our division was tough. And so everyone kind of has a tough schedule. Kind of going through it. Well, what are we doing? We got, too far back, went to 2023. So, Vikings, again, another young team that I got to deal with in the North. That's going to be tough. Us, Cowboys. We'll get there when we get there because that team could go either way as well. Raiders are going to be an easy win, but then you got Commanders. Saints will be easy. Ravens. Bengals are going to still be tough no matter what they are. I think Giants will be an improved team with how good their defense is, so that's not going to be a gimme. Steelers are always the Steelers. Again, the Vikings. And then you have Packers, Eagles. This is some heat on this schedule. Of course, you got us twice. Yeah, you do get the Browns. I don't know what the 49ers are going to be. You do get the Browns. You do get the Saints, the Raiders, who I honestly think will be improved, but I still don't think we'll be a playoff team. We'll get there when we get there. There's some wins here that you should win, but there's a lot of tough teams. There's some smoky teams. That's another reason. It's going to be hard to get more than 7 wins with this schedule, man. 7 just feels right. It just feels right. Wouldn't shock me if they do more. Wouldn't shock me if they're better. If this offensive line improves, I think Caleb could break that curse of 4,000 yards this year. We're still in the offense era. But I just think there's too much too soon. Too many expectations. Too many people think too much of Ben Johnson. Are you ready to deal with the good and bad? Everybody has good and bad, right? Are you ready to deal with somebody who may not have the personality and may be a bit too cerebral? It worked out for a guy like Belichick for all those years and didn't really work out for a guy like Martz. And I hope he's not Mike Martz, who was this very arrogant offensive coordinator for the Rams back in the day. And it's like maybe Isaac Bruce, Marshall Faulk, and Torrey Holt and Kurt Warner were the reason that team was great. And I can't help but to think, maybe Amon Ra, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jared Goff, and Sam Laporta had a lot to do with why that team was so great. I'm not saying Ben Johnson did nothing. I'm not saying Ben Johnson's terrible, but he gets very cute. He's starting to believe his own hype, and there's a lot of hype around the Bears. Still think they're going to improve. Still think they'll be a better team. Still soft rooting. I know a lot of people are down on Ben Johnson. Pause. Because of, I got a lot of pauses. I don't know if it's Caleb. I don't know what it is. Very zesty video. I apologize. But a lot of people are down on Ben Johnson because of him maybe being a little Benedict Johnson, I've heard him called. And I'm not trying to portray that. I, still want the Bears. I want a good division. I want everybody to do well, right? I want everybody to do well. I just want us to beat those teams. I still want the Bears to be a team to talk about. I want to make fun of them too. But I got to be, objective, or as objective as possible with my analysis. I don't hate Ben Johnson. I honestly, like I said, thinks he has things that he needs to improve on as a play caller, as far as just being just a little bit more vanilla, just being a little bit more less risky. I'm sure some of that risk, going for a fourth down, some of that Dan Gamble stuff is going to help the Bears out, but it's also going to backfire in these moments for a fan base that seems to just have a lot of bluster about it right now. Caleb had no one said Caleb Williams had a good rookie year. No one has said that, and he did. He absolutely did, by a historic margin where you look at most quarterbacks suck dick their first year. Pause. Look at Peyton Manning's first year. Caleb Williams was 100 times better than first year Peyton Manning. You do realize that, right? Who threw 28 picks or some crazy number. He was 100 times better, and you don't hear any of that. You don't hear anything positive about Caleb because it's just the standard's too high. He was supposed to come in and be an all-pro from day one, and he wasn't, and that's not good enough. And this team is supposed to win 12 games, and if they don't, it's not good enough. If that's the type of pressure they get, Ben could crack under and go under that floor. You know what I'm saying? And this could be another disaster. Now it's another coach and it's another situation. I don't want that for the Bears. It's funny, but I don't want that for the Bears. I want the Bears to get out of this, but it's going to take patience. Don't be shocked to win 7 wins this year, even 9, because this is going to be a tough division for the next 5 years for all 4 of us, right? Maybe what if you win 6, 7 wins this year, 9, 8 wins next year? That's still improving, man. That's still improving. Are the Bears fans gonna be patient enough with this team? That's my question. I think they've done a lot in the offseason to improve. I don't quite have them as that team, that quote-unquote surprise team that wasn't in the playoffs, that makes the playoffs this year. A couple of people are picking teams like the 49ers and Cowboys. We'll get there when we get there. I'm not sure. I think they'll be fine. 7 wins. That's what I'm going with. 7 wins. What do you think? What do you think? You tell me. Peace.